And welcome back. We're flying out the F-5E again. I just landed, I just rearmed, got my missile back, got my fuel back up, and it's 1v4. And I'm gonna be fighting a MiG-23 and F-5C. I believe another F-5E or C right above me, and a MiG-21 that's gonna come in eventually. If I sound pretty dead, if I sound like I want to die right now, you're completely right. I feel like absolute horseshit, but I figured I'd get a video out anyway, because in the next 3 days I have even less time. Shoot the missile off at a pretty far range. I turned my radar off and hope he wouldn't notice me. He did. He dodged the missile quite handily because of that, and I'm gonna keep this missile for a while. As long as I need it, really. I'm not gonna shoot it at this F5. It's probably not going to track anyway. He clearly pays attention. He's clearly flaring as well. So it would be just a bit of a waste. I'm not sure if it's a 5C or a 5E at this point. But whether it's a 5E or a 5C and what happens in the situation here will change my opinion about not using the missile here. There's a MiG-21 coming in and I need to reel in this F5, stay on this guy 6 before the MiG-21 comes in. I know this was an E simply because of the speed he was carrying. So now I'm on the 5E, I made him turn with that missile, I got him a little bit closer, I got him within gun range. And I'm not really worried about the MiG-21 here. Just trying to stick on him. I have all the ammo in the world and I need this guy dead as quickly as I can. Manage to shoot his wingtip off, almost ram into his rack. And back up we go. It's another F-5C going RTB as well as the MiG-23, but we have a little bit of time here to fight the MiG-21. It's only an MF, so it shouldn't be that much of an issue. He has R60s, yes, but I have flares and I'm not very hot, so I shouldn't really be worried about the R60. Of course, if I stall myself out, big chance I'm going to die, but right there I didn't even turn my afterburner off. I flared a little bit, turned into it, and it instantly just missed. Turn back into the MF. He goes straight for a little bit. And then he goes up, big mistake on his end. And now I'm firmly on his 6 and we are just going to keep pitching up. Keep pitching after him. My retention will beat his, so in this kind of fight I will win eventually. If we start in the head-on and we're both slow, he will have a little bit better energy production. But in the long run it shouldn't really matter, as this thing just has far superior retention. And in the raid fight it will probably win. A 21 bis will beat this thing, but if you're looking for a more in-depth guide, if you're looking for more of technicalities about the plane, I highly suggest you to check out the other video that I did, which is more about the plane itself, whereas here I will be mostly covering the game and not so much the plane. And there they are, MiG-23 and an F5. I know it's an F5C from earlier. I missed a shot on him, a very easy shot actually, that's why you're not seeing it. Go ahead on with a MiG-21 or MiG-23, I'm not really worried about him. And now we just kind of go into this loop, this spiral, and the F5C shouldn't be able to follow this, and he only has the AIM-9Es, so I'm not really worried. He probably has less fuel than me, however, so he will win in terms of straight up turning capabilities. I should have a little bit more energy, but again, he just has a lot less fuel. Right now I'm trying to stall out the F5C, get quite a, well, not a hard shot I would say. I completely botched it, no excuse for that one, just completely underled. Turn into the MiG-23. He has a very hard time trying to get kills on me with that GSH-23 as well as the R60s. He probably doesn't have the radar missile on, or the R23. So now I'm just, again, keeping my speed up a little bit. Dive on the F5C. That's a pretty sketchy shot, so I just kind of missed. Not a big deal. Here he should be going pretty slow and he's gonna pass right in my guns. And if I kill him here, I should have a pretty easy time dealing with a MiG-23. This guy's going so slow and I don't know what's wrong with me. Those aren't shots I will not miss normally, but I guess missing it this time actually made this game a lot more interesting. MiG-23 diving in on me. I just kind of turn into him. I'm still on the 6 of the F5 and I'm going to stay there. And now they're both extending in the same direction, which means that I can simply stick on one of them. Clearly going to be the F5C because he's the bigger threat here. And I'm just going to get my speed back up, and when the MiG-23 comes back in, I'm just going to be doing the same thing. I'm going to be easily dodging him. And I'm just going to be largely ignoring him. And I just want this F5C out of the match. MiG-23 is coming back in. He is faster than me, but with a GSH-23, if I pay attention, if I move around enough, he is not going to hit me. That missile is not in range. I'm still going to snake the missile a little bit left and right. Just to bleed it off that extra amount of energy, just to be completely sure it's not going to hit me. Clearly out of energy, clearly going to be fine, so I turn back in for the F5C. MiG-23 is still on my 6, he rips his flaps off, which is pretty huge. High speed deflection, don't manage to pull enough lead. I'm compressing a little bit, and I again position my nose incorrectly. Roll a bit, go up and down, dodge the MiG-23, and you can tell I'm just really trying to stay on this F-5C, but then the F-5C passes under me, and he takes a little bit of a passive line, making so that I can turn back into the MiG-23, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing here. Still turning in, make sure that that F-5C is not turning into me here. He is, but he's 4 kilometers away. If I pull up after him now, I'm energy trapped in front of the F-5C, and again, he probably has minimum fuel, and I do not want to deal with that on my 6. So we go head on, dodge the head on, a little bit of neck G, a little bit of pulse G, doesn't really matter. The chance of him hitting that with that gun is very slim, especially on the airframe that is a MiG-23. So we're back to square one. Both of them on my 6. Well, actually that's square 0. That's actually worse than we started, because we started with a head on with more energy. But playing it right for the most part, the MiG-23 can't really do a lot. Like, both of these planes are inferior, but they can't really play this differently. If I play it right, if I don't mess up like I did earlier, I should win this. But they're putting an awful lot of pressure on me, and after I missed that first shot, or the second shot rather, when we're both low on the deck with the F-5C, I thought I lost it. Because they're separating, the boomer zooming correctly, and I was just playing like shit for the entire session. My aim was like that the entire session as well. I just had a very bad day, so I thought, alright, this is it. But again, I'm just flying in front of the MiG-23, and I'm trying to stick on this F5, because the second he gets on me, it's game over. The MiG-23 I can juke around for quite a long time actually, trying to sneak in behind the F5C, but he was paying attention yet again, and kind of bites me in the ass. So now they're both on my 6 again. I have to break off the attack, and my acceleration here will be far superior. Luckily they don't have missiles that will actually track me, or at least not track me reliably. Otherwise disengaging like this is virtually impossible. Right now I'm just trying to get my speed up a little bit again, trying to get around Mach 0.95 for that magic F5 number. Don't manage to do so. They're separated in a way right now that I want to turn at this very instant, dodge this angle, which was the most dangerous one. We're both on very low fuel now. I have 7 minutes left, so at most he has, well, 7 minutes less than me, but it's probably a smaller difference than that. So I feel a lot more comfortable now dogfighting this guy. I still want to be careful, because the F5C at higher speeds will turn inside of you, at least most of the time. So right now again I'm just ignoring the MiG-23. F5C is pitching up for me, but the MiG-23 presents himself finally, passes right underneath me, shoot a little burst, set him on fire, and now it's a 1v1. And now I can finally deal with this guy as I wanted to, because it doesn't matter how bad a MiG-23 is. If I 1v1 the F5C, if I stall myself out in front of the guy, there's a very little chance he's actually going to miss that. Now it's 1v1, and I can go balls to the wall with this guy, and I will. Because, you know, dogfighting is some of the more fun stuff in this game, especially when it's asymmetrical, at least to me. Dodge the head on, because there's no need for me to take this. We go up. Notice he's a lot slower than me. I'm popping flares because I bound my keys that way. Disengage, run away. He's a lot slower than me, so if he proceeds with that fight, he's going to end up behind me and he's going to spray me down. F5C is very light, very much easy to aim, and I don't want to hang in his gun. So right now I'm just kind of disengaging, and again the flaps and the flag key I have on the same mouse button. I just kind of change them around for the planes, and the top tier I don't have a flap key bound, it's on my flare key. So every time I press my flap key, or I think I press my flap key, I drop another flare. We open in the same way. We go vertical because I want to force the energy fight. I'm not going to win a raid fight. Oh, well, I will win it, but not fast enough. But at this point he's energy trapped. Second loop, we go back up. And you can tell that the energy difference here is pretty substantial. I'm a kilometer above him. I'm still going 470. And there's no way he's going to be pitching up for that. And if he tried to, then he would stall directly in my guns. Right now, 0.8 away from me. He thinks I still have missiles left. I don't. And I have quite a bit of ammo left. I'm just going to get in behind him. I'm going to get close. I don't want to overshoot. I'm going to do the same thing as I could have done to the first guy. And he just hose him down. Throttle drop completely. It doesn't really matter because there's no one else to capitalize on the fact that I'm going slow here. And he's crit. He's going to out-accelerate me because I throttle drop too hard, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much more fast he's going than me. In the long run, I will catch him regardless. And I have it. 4v1. 6 kills in total. The first 2 kills were simply missiles in a furball. not very interesting, and I try to keep this video short because I just want to go back to bed. And there you have it, F-5E. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out the actual F-5E video that I made. It's in the description as well as in the top right. Check that one out, and I will see you all pretty soon again with probably a prop video.